The N-word is a highly contentious and controversial topic in today's society. Case in point, we have so many people saying the N-word so much right now, it can be argued that the N-word has evolved rather than becoming an eternal racial slur to being one of the biggest inside jokes ever conceived. And in a way, that's actually a good thing because people aren't actually saying the N-word in spite of other people that happen to be black. It's just a funny joke. But still, because there's so much negative connotation with the word, you have to be careful not to ever say it in public. And you would think that most people who are in the public eye would not do that. Granted, you have had cases where people slip up and just say it because they're being stupid, like PewDiePie. But now we have a motorsport professional doing this. And oh boy, Kyle Larson, you done goofed up. Kyle Larson said the N-word during a stream. It was an iRacing stream. I don't know if this was on live broadcast or just regular iRacing. But he decided to be a bonehead and set NASCAR back 30 years in the process. Yeah. So he was trying to talk to somebody privately, and he called them a nigger, is what happened. And he did use the hard ER. So you would bet that not only were his fellow competitors shocked in the race, many people who were either fans of him or just passive observers were shocked. So yeah, Kyle Larson has just hurt his reputation in ways that makes fucking Kyle Busch and Kurt Busch winch in pain. Like, this is quite possibly the most boneheaded move any NASCAR driver has ever done. Like, this is bad. This is really fucking bad. Like, okay, so my thoughts on the matter, before I get to my thoughts on the matter, let's just go into why you don't say that. Because people will automatically accuse you of being racist, obviously, even though, funny enough, Kyle Larson was recruited through the NASCAR diversity program, Racing for Diversity, and apparently, from what I've been hearing, Bubba Wallace was actually a spotter in the race, and he was probably trying to say it to him, and they were having a good meaty joke about it. So one of my big questions is, did Bubba Wallace give him the N-word pass? Because if it did, then this would kind of alleviate some of the controversy. But even if Bubba was like, no, I'm okay with him saying that, and he's like, I don't give a shit about people if they say it in a joking manner. People in the media are going to run wild with this. My thoughts on this, plain and simply, are this. This is not something NASCAR needed right now. We're not having any races. All we're relying on right now in terms of revenue stream is the iRacing thing, which has been a pretty shocking success, by the way. But you do this on iRacing. So you messed up big time there. And now, here we are, just the day after you do this, and the media's picked up on it. And guess what the media's narrative is going to be? They're going to say NASCAR's a bunch of fucking hick rednecks racist. That's what they were going to assume, and that's what they will always say NASCAR is. Is it's just a sport full of hick rednecks who are racist and are so backwards. That's all they're going to fucking say. That is all they're going to say. You just set the sport back 30 years because this is a prevailing narrative that has been going around about NASCAR and NASCAR fans in general for more than 30 fucking years, Kyle. You need to learn how to keep your mouth shut. Like, if you was doing this with a friend, like, in the private time, I don't care because ultimately we have freedom of speech in the United States. You can say whatever the hell you want. And if he was joking, which very well what this seems to be, then that's fine to an extent, but it's the way he did it. He did it during a live broadcast on iRacing instead of making sure that he was just talking to one person and not putting it out in the entire broadcast. So Kyle has inadvertently drug NASCAR's name into the ground and Chip Ganassi's name into the ground because Chip Ganassi's the car owner. And this is going to be really bad for sponsorship too, because people are going to hear this. They're going to start reading these articles soon. I mean, we have bigger fish to fry right now with the Corona-chan. but this is going to get to their attention sooner or later, and either they're going to pull sponsorship or they're going to request Kyle Larson get out of the car. Or if they don't do either of those things, they're going to make him go on a walk of shame tour. Because he's got Credit One and he's got McDonald's. Those are the two biggest sponsors that he has. Credit One might leave. McDonald's has invested in NASCAR and Chip Ganassi for a while, so I don't think they'd leave, but they would probably leave Chip Ganassi, which would leave him without a sponsor. And this is gonna really be crazy. And this could be for a very interesting NASCAR silly season, because people are speculating that Ross Chastain may even get the ride, since he got his ride taken away from him at Ganassi in the Xfinity Series in 2018. Like, this is huge. This is absolutely huge. This is by far the worst bit of news we've gotten since Brian France pulled his boneheaded stunt by getting a DUI. Like, this is horrid. This is absolutely bad for the face of the sport and for Kyle Larson's reputation, because this fucks his reputation up horribly. Like, WinVal 8820, like, he was a huge Kyle Larson super fan. He decorates his Discord with Kyle Larson faces. He's like, well, pack up, we're stuck, boys, we're done. Like, yes, Kyle Larson is going to lose a lot here. And like I said, it's really unfortunate, because it's not here that he was trying to be a dick. It wasn't trying to be a dick. Okay? Especially if Bubba gave him the N-word pass. Like, I don't think he was trying to be a dick. But he did this on a stream, potentially hundreds of people watching, and in front of fellow competitors, while being one of the biggest faces in NASCAR. This is bad. Like, if you do this for any other sport, and you're a white, or someone that looks white, you're gonna get hit. Which, once again, like I will say, it will be funny to see the narratives come out about this when Kyle Larson was hired through the NASCAR for Diversity program, and he's an Asian Californian. And Bubba Wallace is a black man who was a spotter in that race, who I haven't seen him say anything yet. That's subject to change. But expect more videos on this topic in the future, because this is going to have major ramifications for the sport going forward. How many major sponsors will pull out because they don't want to be associated with this? How many major sponsors will leave Kyle Larson? What will happen to Chip Ganassi racing in the future, since he doesn't have Felix Sabates anymore as the minority stake owner, and he has full control of the team, but he's not able to get sponsorship anymore because of this? What's going to happen? Like, this is going to hurt. And if Kyle does lose his ride, like, I don't think Chip's going to cut him just yet. Either he's going to release him, and they'll go their separate ways at the end of the season if it ever gets back up, or he'll leave voluntarily, which is a big long shot, and he'll probably race some lower tier cars and try to build up and do what he can to try to build up his reputation in the meantime. Because yes, this is something that in any other sport you don't recover from. One of the big reasons NASCAR is a better sport in my eyes, because once again, it's a sport of good old boys, but we go through, it's old fashioned in the sense of how people and their mentalities are. Okay, like, we're easy to forgive in certain situations. Like, this is a forgivable thing. This isn't like he goes on a massive tirade about how black people are the scorn of the earth. Like, it was just a meme. That's all he was doing, was being a meme with his friend on iRacing. Yes, he fucked up and should have made sure that the friend was the only one listening, so that way this didn't go out into the world. But ultimately, that's the mistake that he's going to have to live with, and he's probably going to have to live this down for the rest of his life, which is unfortunate. But that's what happens when you make dumbass mistakes. You make dumbass mistakes like that, that's going to follow you around. And it's just, I feel bad for him. Kinda. Apparently, he's been going around asking people to take down criticism of what he did, or take down the video on Twitter. He hasn't come talk to me yet. If he does, I'm not going to take it down, and If he tries to sue me over it, I'm going to say, come to court, motherfucker. We'll go for it. But yeah, man, it's just... This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. This is not the news that I wanted to leave work finding out. Alright? I had a horrible day yesterday. I have a headache this morning. Cut my hand open yesterday. Like, I want to relax. I want to relax for a little bit. And then I see this. I see Kyle Larson does this boneheaded stunt. This is quite possibly the most shocking NASCAR story I've seen in quite a while. This is bad. Like, this makes anything Kyle Busch has done over the years, like, not even comparable. And it's just a small thing. It's not him doing something on the racetrack. It's not him doing something behind the scenes during a race or in the middle of a race weekend. This is just in the middle of this fucking quarantine. And I'll just say this. It could be just the quarantine's making people restless and they're making people do things that they're not normally going to do. That is a good plausible reason for why Larson did this. Yeah, it's like you get restless with all this shit. So I would understand if he did that just out of frustration. Like he was trying to get spirits up, but he was mostly doing it because he was frustrated. I don't blame him necessarily if that's the case. But he should have handled this a lot better. He should be handling this a lot better. His agent better be on the phone right now trying to calm people down. But I have a feeling that it's not going to work. Because in this day and age, when people are looking for the smallest, tiniest bit of reasoning to cancel people, whether legitimate or not, and you just give the media, who hate NASCAR so much, Cody Ware said this rightly so, it's like, if you're defending Larson over this, it's like, you do realize that the media will not give us any leeway here. Like, they will fuck us over hard. And that's what's going to happen. The media is going to fuck us over hard. Now, it's like, I'm not defending him for how he said it or what I'm defending him for his First Amendment right. That's the only thing I'm defending him for, is that he has the right to say that because he's an American citizen, he has the freedom of speech, he can do that, doesn't matter what race or gender you are, you can say whatever words you want. But he shouldn't have said it that way in public. Okay? If it's, like I said, the N-word is becoming more and more of a meme, which is a good thing. Because if you're treating slurs in a way not like their intended effect dies away. Like, we have made the N-word into a meme, which I think is a good thing. But because it's still viewed so heavily negative, and you use it in the hard ER form and not with the A, people are going to be like, oh my god, is Kyle Larson a racist? And there's probably people right now going through that. Even though, once again, this would go against a lot of people's narratives because Kyle Larson is Asian and from California. But, man, this is just, it's pitiful. You hate to see it. You don't want to see this happen, but it happens. And you're just so shocked that you just don't know how to process it. Kyle Larson, you done goofed. You just gave the sport a major black eye that transcends whatever Brian France did. In just 2 words. If you just used a little bit of hindsight, we wouldn't be in this situation right now. Worrying about the future of the sport, worrying about you, and worrying about what the hell the media is going to try to pull on us. Like, you're going to have a bunch of NASCAR YouTubers really fucking pissed right now. And look, here's my thing. I want to hear Bubba Wallace's thoughts on this. Yes, I know it's a bad look to try to ask him for it. But if Bubba was his spotter, and he was right there with him when it happened, and he was laughing along, we need to hear him say it. Like, I don't want to hear it from him mainly because, oh, he's a black guy. I want to hear it from him because he was there. I want to hear it from him because he was apparently there. If he was there, I want to hear his thoughts on it. And I want to hear a lot of other people's thoughts on it. But my big fear here is that this is going to turn into a whole political shitstorm. And everybody's going to have to go. I'm afraid what Dale Jr. is going to say, because I don't know how Dale Jr. is going to react to this. I don't know how CGR is going to react to this. I don't know how Sabatis is going to react to this. I don't know how Hendrick's going to react to this, because he could have been a potential candidate to take over JJ's ride at the end of the season. I don't know how Tony's going to react to this at Stewart Haas. I, I don't know how Kurt's going to react to this. I don't know how Kyle Busch is going to react to this. I don't know how Clint's going to react to this. I don't know how any NASCAR driver or anyone in the NASCAR field is going to react to this. Like, this is something you don't recover from if you don't handle it right. And right now, Kyle Larson isn't doing a pretty good job of that. So he needs to get his ass in gear there. And I'm all for second chances. Give him a second chance. Okay? Because we haven't seen that many character problems from Kyle Larson in the past. Like, the most egregious thing I think he's ever done was accuse Hendrick of cheating when everybody was when all the Chevy teams were in a bit of a slump last year. Or was it the year before? It was something like that. But that's been like the biggest character problem he's had. This, though, it's a black mark on his career. It's a black eye for NASCAR. And especially in the politically divisive time we are in now, we're going to get swallowed whole by the sea of what the fuck. Because this is what this is. It's a big bowl of what the fuck. Gosh. Why is it that all the NASCAR discussions I have on this channel are just fucking negative? All the ones I've done are negative. Over the 2020 schedule, Brian France being a drunk retard, and now Kyle Larson having a brain lapse. This is horrible. I want to do more positive content, but that requires a lot more effort. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'd love to be able to put more effort analyzing stuff about my favorite moments happening throughout NASCAR. But this stuff, it needs to be covered. It needs to be covered in the heat of the moment. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go get drunk now. I have a NASCAR to worry about later. This is just fucking perfect.